Hello everybody, welcome back to the shop. It's fishing season's finally over and weather cooled off in the garage. Sure, I can come back in the garage and stock up on my fishing supplies that I need. Um, so I'm gonna make some spinner baits and buzz baits. So I thought I'd show you guys how I make those and what all you need to do that. Let's get that going. Alright, you're going to need a couple things to make spinner baits. First thing's going to be a lead mold. I use the Do It molds. This one here is the Ultra Spinner Jig. You see how it comes. It has 3 different sizes: 1/4 ounce, 3/8, half ounce. So you need one of those. You're going to need a way to melt the lead. I use a hot pot. You're also going to need some lead. Oops. I buy this lead like this. You're going to need some hooks. It'll tell you on the mold here what hooks to use. I use these Moostads. I got a 3/0 and a 4/0. And then for wire, you have a couple options. You can buy pre-built bent wires like this, which come with kind of pre-bent for a spinner bait, or you can buy wire in bulk like this. I buy it like this from like Barlow's Tackle or something like that, stainless steel. This is 040 wire. I've also gone to the welding shop and bought stainless steel filler wire too, and use that. It works pretty good. So yeah, you're gonna need mold, you're gonna need lead, hot pot, hooks, wire, and the other stuff. Alright, so I'm gonna plug in the hot pot, get it warming up. I'm gonna cut off some lead, put in there. Alright, we'll let that warm up. Alright, while the lead's warming up, I'm gonna take a piece of wire. I cut this wire off of the roll that I had. And this little tool here that I bought, it's called the Little Blue Bender. It's pretty simple. It's got a little place you can put the wire in and do the bends real easy. So I put the wire in here, get the tool ready, and I'm just going to bend the end, the very end of it around into almost like a loop, like so. So then what happens when you put the hook into the mold, you're just going to put the wire through the hook like that, and then the lead's going to hold them together. So you just want that for now. You can see in these pre-bent ones, they already bent this bend here, which I don't really like. It doesn't fit in the mold very good. It's a lot easier for me to fit it in the mold like this and then bend it after I get the lead in it. So that's the way I like to do it. I'll make this one a buzz bait. Alright, so it's kind of chilly in here in the garage, so I'm going to get my heat gun out. I'm just going to pre-warm this mold a little bit so it's not so cold, because if it's too cold then the lead will kind of harden before it flows in there quite good. So. Okay, so the lid, as you can see, is liquid now. What I like to do is kind of stir it around a little. You see kind of some slag build up on the top. I'll just kind of scrape that slag out. So, where it looks a little more cleaner. Oh, and if you're going to be heating up lead like this too, you got to have an exhaust fan. I have my exhaust fan here in my shop running, so you don't get the fumes up, whatever. So now I got the lead going. Let's get this mold set up. So I have another mold here just to kind of show you how I hold it on these pre-bent ones. It's kind of a pain. So on this 1/4 ounce one here, I'm going to take a 3/0 hook. Like I said, I'm going to put the little thing through there. Use me a pair of pliers. I just kind of crimp it a little more so it stays. Then you're going to place it in the mold, the hook out here, and then with the wire coming out that little hole in the top. So that's why I use this other one here, because this one's got a bend to it and it'll flip sideways. So just to get it set up, so I'm going to use 3/0 hooks for the 3/8 and the 1/4 ounce. Same thing here. I'm just going to crimp it a little. Like so. And then for the 1/2 ounce, I've got a 4/0 hook. I'm going to use this piece of wire that I bent the end on. Do the same thing. Stick it. The only tricky part about these things is getting these lined up just right so you can close the mold on it like so. And then I'm going to carefully close this mold. And verify that the wires are coming out the right spot, like so. And then I'll put it in the vise. Alright, so I'm going to hit it with the heat gun real quick again. Alright, going to pour the lead. Like so. Touch that. Okay. Let it cool for a few minutes. Open it up, see how it looks. That one come out pretty good. Looks pretty good. So like I said, I found the key is, you know, one, if it's cold, preheating the mold, and also pouring, you know, slowly, not too fast, not too slow, but you kind of find that right speed where the liquid flows in there good. Then you end up with a nice little one like this. So then this this top piece, I just take a pair of cutters, try to cut it close as I can, like so. Cut that off, throw that back in the lead pot. I'll clean that up a little, and we'll powder coat that. Alright, so now that I have them out of the lid, you'll see that little area where I cut that off. Usually just take a small file, kind of clean it up a little, smooth it out. Get that little edge off. Like so, and we'll get ready for powder coat. Alright, time to powder coat. If you guys have seen my other videos where I made a fluid bed and I would dip the jigs in, that doesn't work well. Obviously we have these big wires in the way, so I can't, if it, you dip it like that, then you're powder coating the hook, and it's kind of hard to do. So so this is kind of the way that I've found to do it. I'll heat it up, I'll set it down, I'll take this little scoop, and I'll scoop the powder, and I'll just kind of dribble it on it. So let's see how that goes. Just kind of shake it on it, like so. Pretty good. Alright, so my little toaster oven, here's how I'll put them in toaster oven. Kind of hang the hooks off the little rack. This little oven, I can't do a whole lot of spinner baits at once, but it's small and stays out of the way. So that way they're kind of hanging like so. Close my oven door. Alright, so I have the oven set for about 375. And then what I do on this is I turn the timer to about 10 minutes. $375 and let them cook. Okay, timer went off. I put the fan on them a little bit, cool them down. Let's see how they look. Like I said, sprinkling them on doesn't make it the most beautiful paint job, but fish don't care. I mean, to me, do what I can. When I wanted to make them pretty, I actually have airbrushed them and epoxy coated them, but then I end up losing them. Just snag and lose it next time. So I just don't get it. Could have probably did a little better job sprinkling that one, but we'll put some eyeballs and some skirts on them and finishing them up. Okay, so just did these in a basic white. I like to put some red eyeballs on them, kind of make them pop. Oops, eyes are falling out. Take a little bit of gel super glue, a little easier to control. Just one little drop on there. Place the eyeball in there. Cool. Oops. Got carried away on that one. These eyes can be a pain in the butt to put on and pick up. So try to use a pair of tweezers so I don't get all over my fingers. But as you can see, it's not going so easy. So, alright. Now it's stuck on my fingers. There we go. Red eyes. Just to add a little color, I'm going to just take some airbrush paint. Just add a little bit of red on the bottom here. Like that. Yeah, we can try to do some little gills or something. Alright, now time to make some skirts for these. So I have some silicone skirt material. I like white. I've got a little bit of chartreuse there I'm going to add. I got a black, some other colors I can add to them. So what you're going to need is buy these little rubber retainers. They go on there, they're kind of stretchy, but to me they're a little too big, so I actually cut them in half, like so. Yeah, like so. Then you need this skirt tool. It has a little sharp point on it. So you take the point of that tool on there, get you one of these, and kind of roll it on to the tool, like so. Once it's on the tool, then you're going to take this little hook, put the hook through, grab me a skirt. So there's some white. I'm going to add a little bit of black color in there, kind of mix it up a little. And another white one. So I've got the hook through the tool like so. I'm going to get it underneath the ends of these skirts. I'll put them all through there. Through the hook, like so. Then I'm going to pull it through the tube, like so. Once it's through, I'm going to kind of pull them to where the rubber's about in the center, like so, and then roll it off onto it. There we go. And then I like to kind of fold it in half so I get them all the right length. Cut those ends off. And there's one skirt. Put this back on the tool. You can. A little bit of red and black in this one. I think so. You can put as much as you want, depending on how thick you want your skirt to be. I kind of like these small skirts. I do like 2.5, 2 to 2.5 on a spinnerbait. Don't need to be as much as a regular jig. I like them a little thicker and fuller for regular jigs, and I'll do like 3 or 4 of them. But on these, like I said, I'll just do 2 or 2.5. Yeah, and that one's white with a little bit of red and black in it. So it's not all white. Once again, roll it on there. Stick that through. And this one I'm going to throw a little chartreuse in there. Like so. There you go. Now the chartreuse and white on that one. Let me grab my. And there we go. Here's our first spinnerbait we got. I'll take this skirt, kind of spread it out, put it through the hook, like so, and then up over the little hump there. It's in that spot there, like so. And straighten those out, whatever you want. There's the skirt part. Alright, so now that I have a skirt on this, I'm going to put some spinner blades and stuff. So all these, all the different little parts and pieces here. You've got some little spacers, little hooks, little beads, swivels. I like to use the ball bearing swivels on these, stuff like that. So you can pick most of this stuff up. I get most of my components from Barlow's Tackles, but you can get them from Do It, you know, Lure Craft, a whole bunch of places like that. What I'd like to do here is you take these little, start off with this little half moon thing here on the bottom. This is a smaller one. I'm going to put like 2 blades on this one. I'm going to do a smaller like hammered blade here. And oh, I got to put put it on a split ring here. The split ring like so. It's on the split ring. I take the split ring, put it on there, and slide it onto there. So then this one doesn't really swivel, it just kind of flips back and forth and gets our attention. I'll put a little, you know, some colorful beads, kind of makes rattling sounds. These little spacers on there. So do spacer and maybe a little green bead go with it. So the idea here is we're gonna, on the top, we're gonna have a larger blade. That was a little big. For this, maybe this one here. So you don't want the small one to hit the top blade. You want the top blade to be able to spin around. So you gotta kind of have some spacers in there. I'll probably add one more spacer to that. Like so. So as that kind of rides up as you're pedaling in, you know, it'll do that. So what I need to do now is make a hook on the top of this. All right, so the top of this, we're going to need a loop so that we can connect the top spinner on. So normally if you know, like I said, you got to figure that that top piece has got to come, and then there's going to be trailing behind. I kind of like it to come out to where the hook is. So on these pre-bent ones, on all these smaller ones, I usually come up about 2 inches, about here or so, to put the bin. So there's a couple ways you can do the loop. One is use the little tool here. So I'm going to put this into the bending tool. So, and bend it around. And you can see it kind of makes a loop out of it, like so. It's stuck. And the other way is this, buy one of these tools at Michael's or any, you know, Hobby Lobby, something like that. Kind of a, you'll find it in the jewelry section or the bead section. It's a nice little tool for making loops on these wires. With it, you just kind of, you know, depending on how big you want the loop, you go up and down on the pliers. So I'm going to go about there, so about that big, and squeeze it, and then turn it a little, and you kind of keep squeezing it, and turning and squeezing it, like so. You can make it into a full loop. So once you loop it around that, grab yourself a pair of cutters, and that's thick wire on that one. Alright, a little bit stronger cutters here. And cut that off. And then there you have it, and that's where we're going to attach it up. Okay, next up we want to do a spinner on a spin. So, like I said, I like to have these little ball bearing swivels. I think they work better than, you know, the other kind. A little more expensive, whatever. But you see, I buy the ones that come with the little split rings on them. They're very small and hard to do. So if you're an old man like me, can't hardly see, get some split ring pliers like these. Help you split that open. Very hard to do on these little ones. There, I got it split open. Put it through the blade. Work that around. like so. And there we have it on there. Okay, so I have my little loop. I'm going to put this on there. Obviously, since it's a loop, I can open it up and close it a little. Makes it a little easier to change when you're out and about. Put that back on there. Tighten that loop up. And there you have it. You can kind of bend that down a little. Nice swivel on that one. Alright, so on this one, so I want to make it a buzz bait, not a spinner bait. I want to kind of get that wire where it's coming straighter out like this before I bend it. Like so. Oops. Sorry. Okay. So I got it coming more straight out. I want to go about that far in, a little over an inch or so, and I'm going to make the little loop like so. There we have the loop, and since it's going to be this one's going to be a buzz bait, I want it to go straight up and then over. But before I go over, I got to put my little clacker on there. So I have this bent to go up. Now, in this part right here, it's going to go up and then bend straight back. But I want to put a clacker on here, a little piece of aluminum that's going to hit the spinner. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to get some more of these little plastic bead for like a spacer. Put a plastic bead down. I have a couple of these little metal clackers in different sizes. I'm going to go with the little bigger one here. And try to put that through there. There we go. Another little bead for a spacer. Like so. And now I want to bend this 90 degrees on that one. So about there or so. My dog is trying to go in and out here. So I start bend using my little bending pliers. So I get it about like so. About 90. You can kind of put a little more on. Then we're going to want a little spinner on there. Like so. So the idea is, as the spinner's going, it's going to hit that clacker a little. Stuff like that. So, we're going to do that. You take a little spacer. You got these little, look like rivets, spacer things. And actually, like, put one of those in front of it, in front of the clacker. And like, those are supposed to make like a little squeaking noise too. And then these clackers obviously clack. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to put a spacer in front of it and a little spacer behind it. Like so. Then I'm going to try to bend this as close as I can to that spinner. And then hopefully when this is going, this is gonna, the water is gonna make this spin around, and it's gonna hit that clacker, clack, clack, clack. Let's take this extra off here, trim that off, and then there we have a little buzz bait. Got the buzz bait, got 2 spinner baits here, smaller one, larger one, ready to go fishing. Alright, now here's some little swim bait tails that I made. I'll pair those up. Like so. Put it through about there. There you have your own spinner bait. And it's, like I said, it's fairly easy to change these. I like to switch the blades up for if it's, you know, like muddy water. I throw these like bronze Colorado blades on there. You know, you can kind of mix them up, whatever. But for the most part, these little silver ones here kind of look like a schooling shad or something like that. But there we go. Spinner baits, buzz bait. I usually make the buzz baits out of the smaller ones because this one's kind of heavy. You're gonna have to crank it pretty hard to keep it on the top of the water. But fun stuff to make.